to the Soham and Nikki station.
I'm Nikki.
And I'm Soham.
Today we are going to witness a super exciting race as it occurs live in the bayou.
In this race we have some interesting contestants, hunters. We have our main man, Mr. Ernest, and our second main man, the young boy. We're anxious to see if they finally catch the buck they hunt year after year.
The race officially starts. Here we see it as the buck emerges from water. The young boy glances from afar. The buck is returning to the game bait from the bayou, and the young boy glances longingly at his prey. This is a pleasant surprise, since this buck usually never participates in the hunt. I guess he's home a day early. Can you see what's happening now, Soham?
Why, yes. It looks like the contestants are going to take a short break, seeing that it is pretty late. These hunters seem like the real deal, seeing that they already scouted out their prey. And we're back, reporting live on the Soham and Nikki station. As everyone awakes, the young boy is made fun of for his lack of education.
That kid can't even spell his own name.
Back to the action. It seems now that the young boy, Roth, and Ernest are saddling up, and Eagle and the other dogs are put on a leash while the other young boy stays behind. The race is just getting started.
Soham, it seems now that Ernest loads the gun and Simon is dragged along by 4 dogs. They're off to start their adventure.
And what's that they see? Why, it's the deer's footprints. Nikki, that's where we came from, out of the water the day before.
They're on to something, it seems.
It looks like they knew the deer would be in the canebrake.
The deer always leaves the country the day the season opened, right, Soham?
That's right, Nikki.
The crew seems to be strategizing about the best way to close in on this buck.
Roth remains on his horse, and Old Eagle starts to take off. I've never seen such a dog run so fast.
Mr. Ernest and the young boy follow Old Eagle in pursuit on Mr. Ernest's horse. Dan, the chase is on.
Do you see that, Nikki? Old Eagle spots the buck. Do you hear the buck crashing through the old cane?
Folks, it's difficult to see, but we clearly can hear the buck. What's this? Mr. Ernest has let Eagle off to further chase the buck?
As they continue to race the buck, Mr. Ernest and the young boy walk alongside Dan, hoping to get closer to their target.
It seems like the sound of the dogs barking is getting faint and fainter. If the hunters don't act quick, all will be in vain.
What a move! Mr. Ernest has urged Dan to move forward. Whoa, wait up! He suddenly reins Dan back and holds him because it seems like Uncle Ike is going to take care of the buck.
Viewers, it's dead silent at the moment. The suspense is killing me. No, it seems like wise Uncle Ike couldn't stop the buck, seeing that they were no shots fired.
The young boy tells Mr. Ernest to head to Ike's standards and figure out what's going on.
What a surprise! Uncle Ike and Willie are standing beside the buck's footprint empty-handed. The race is still on.
I can't take the suspense any longer. I just can't.
Me neither, Soham.
I'm getting so into it, Nikki. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Uncle Ike remarks how it's just a wonder how the buck managed to escape.
I think it's time for them to race to the Hog Bayou camp, right down the ridge. They better hurry up if they want to finally catch that buck.
It seems that the winds are picking up now, as Dan, the young boy, and Mr. Ernest head towards Hog Bayou. As time passes, they can hear the dogs now, and they start to walk next to Dan.
The young boy seems to be thinking hard, probably wondering what the buck is planning to do next. Well, wait, do you hear that, Nikki? It's gunshots!
It sure sounds like a war is going on out there. The young boy looks awful disappointed, Soham.
Well, you see, Nikki, they hunt this deer year after year. It's as if they raised him. If he is shot, then it looks like their whole journey is coming to a final end after all these years. And if some strangers take the thrill away from them, then he would have nothing to look forward to next November.
That's right. Mr. Ernest hushes everyone and everything is momentarily quiet, except for the faint barking of the dogs.
The crew is almost positive that they shot the deer. This hunt for the buck has actually turned into a hunt for blood.
They start running. The race is almost out of their hearing.
They're in an unfamiliar setting now, so they take a moment to gather their thoughts. and head towards a place where the bayou slims down to 15 feet. The race continues.
Indeed it does.
Can you see it now? It seems like Mr. Ernest has something risky in store for them.
It seems like he's going for that vine, Soham.
Maybe he's trying to tie it around Dan, like he's planning to fly through the air.
I don't know about this.
They're doing it. Oh my God, they're flying through the air, Nikki. Something is gonna have to give.
It's the saddle girth.
Yes, the saddle girth has broken off the vine. The young boy holds on to Mr. Ernest's belt, and what's this? They're hanging in the air as it snaps as they fly across the bayou.
Do you see that, Soham? The young boy is gonna get crushed by the saddle and Mr. Ernest when they land.
Why, the young boy is climbing to the top of Mr. Ernest. It's gonna be a hard crash. It seems that the saddle was on the bottom, and Mr. Ernest, and then the young boy. Will Mr. Ernest be okay?
It's a close call, Soham. The young boy springs up as he seems unhurt, and runs to get some water and put it on Mr. Ernest.
Well, he's finally opened his eyes, so thank the Lord. A string of curse words does exit Mr. Ernest's mouth, though, as he is damaged.
Soon the young boy quickly crosses the bayou on the down bogs to retrieve old Dan over there, who's been munching on some vines in the meantime. From what I can see, it looks like they are all building an impromptu saddle.
The good news is that they're alive. But now they can't hear anyone or anything. To make matters worse, the hunters have never strolled into this part of the country. Let's hope this doesn't cost them the race. What are they going to do next, folks?
Interesting. It seems the hunters will trust their instincts and ride along the bank.
Why, Nikki, it seems that they're at Holly New Camp. That's a whole 28 miles from the base.
That's where the young boy and Mr. Ernest live.
Anyways, the search for the Buck's blood, continues. I seriously can't contain myself, folks. This is getting too exciting.
Yes, it is. Mr. Ernest knows that the buck is done with this part of the bayou.
He knows he's on his way home.
It seems that the whole crew and the young boy, Dan, Old Eagle, and Mr. Ernest are now walking and headed back home, folks. It's been a long day.
Well, folks, as the sun is setting, the crew approaches the open glade where all the dogs were walking together. It seems like an unfortunate day for these hunters. Sweet mother of pearl, the buck is face to face with them hunters.
They pass the panting dogs and enter the open glade and see the 3 other dogs, one which must be Old Eagle. The buck silently waits for the dogs to catch up, but boy, this ain't no buck, it's a mule for crying out loud. As expected, the buck flees into the thicket while flashing his white tail. Ernest and the boy catch up and the dogs, and I reckon Eagle is downright tired.
Why, Nikki, can you see what's going on?
Soham, it seems that they're looking at Eagle's feet to see if he's better.
And Mr. Ernest is shooting his pump gun. But why?
I'm not too sure. Anyways, the sun is just touching the tops of the trees now, and they continue on.
Hold on. They see the buck again. Do you see this, Nikki? He looks as big as a statue, that darn thing. These 12 horns like 12 lighted candles. Hold on one more time. Mr. Ernest is pointing his gun at the buck's neck. What's gonna happen next?
All you hear is click, click, click.
Oh snap, crackle pop. The buck is escaping. The race isn't over, folks. It's completely dark, all except the red glow from the west side. What in the world is going on?
The young boy promises Mr. Ernest he won't tell a soul that he forgot to load his gun. And they carry on, using the compass as a guide due to the darkness that surrounds the area.
It was getting way too dark to see where all of them were going. And they must have used a box of matches or so when they finally reached back to their destination.
Mr. Ernest then orders the young boy to get on Dan, and they don't want to spoil him rotten. As they push closer, the young boy seems to have hit the hay.
Mr. Ernest, Dan, and the young boy have finally arrived.
It's about time, Soham. Where at?
Mr. Ernest blows his horn, beckoning to Simon as they come closer to their destination.
Well, folks, it seems this year's race is over. Tune in next year for the thrilling race. Howdy y'all, and welcome to the Soham and Nikki station. Now, if y'all haven't noticed, Soham's not here today. He's a little sick from the excitement from last year's race. But don't worry, we have a special guest for you today. Here is the young boy from last year's race.
How you doing, Nikki?
Hi, young boy. Now, why don't you tell us your name?
Why, my name is the young boy.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, great. That's what we've been calling. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I'm sure our listeners would love to hear. Now, what school are you enrolling to next year?
Yeah, well, Mr. Ernest made me go to school, so I'm gonna enroll to South Brunswick High School.
Interesting. Now, do you know who your teachers are going to be?
Well, I know one. I saw my schedule. It was, her name was Mrs. Ciccone or something like that.
Oh, you mean Miss Ciccone.
Oh, Ciccone, is it? That's nice.
Are you going to tell her I said hello?
Sure, why not? Does she know you?
No.
That's even better.
Thank you for tuning in today, listeners, and tune in for next year's race.